The scream that echoed down the hallway froze everyone in their tracks. It was sharp, desperate, the kind that makes your stomach twist before your mind even understands why. Moments later, a girl lay motionless on the cold floor of Westbrook High, blood trickling from her lip, her books scattered across the tiles like fallen leaves. Her name was Emily Carter, the new girl who'd only been at the school for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, she had already become the target of the worst kind of cruelty. Emily was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes bullies hungry. She wore thrift store clothes, spoke softly, and didn't seem to fit into any of the loud, glittering cliques that ruled the hallways. Her single mother, Sarah Carter, had moved them to town for a fresh start after losing her husband in a car accident. Emily wanted to blend in. She just wanted peace. But peace wasn't something the world offered easily. It started small, a few snide comments, whispers when she passed, laughter that followed her down the hall. Then came the stolen lunch, the accidental shoulder bumps, the mean notes in her locker. But that day, it wasn't just bullying. It was brutality. 3 girls cornered her in the gym locker room after school: Lacey, Tina, and Brooke, the self-proclaimed queens of Westbrook. No teachers around. No witnesses. They shoved Emily, insulted her, and when she tried to leave, Lacey threw the first punch. Then another. The laughter that filled the room as Emily crumpled to the floor wasn't just cruel, it was inhuman. By the time a janitor found her, she was barely conscious. Her eye was swollen shut, her ribs bruised, her clothes torn. She didn't say who did it. She didn't have to. Everyone already knew when Sarah Carter got the call. Something inside her broke, but not in the way you'd expect. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She went silent, her eyes going cold and sharp. She sat beside her daughter in the hospital, holding her hand, promising quietly, "They'll never hurt you again. I swear it." The next morning, she walked into Westbrook High. She wasn't dressed like a grieving mother. She wore a sharp black blazer, her hair tied tight, her presence demanding attention. She was calm, too calm. And that's what made everyone nervous. She went straight to the principal's office. Mr. Daniels, the principal, stammered through polite excuses about ongoing investigations and zero-tolerance policies. But Sarah didn't come to hear policies. She came for justice. "You had cameras in that hallway," she said, her voice steady. "You had reports. My daughter went to your counselors 3 times. You did nothing. So now, I will." When the principal hesitated, she dropped a stack of papers on his desk: screenshots, social media posts, and even videos she had already found circulating online. The bullies themselves had recorded part of the attack. The proof was undeniable, but Sarah wasn't done. She went live on social media that afternoon. Her video began with Emily's hospital photo, her face bruised, her body bandaged, and Sarah's voice trembling with both pain and power. "This is what happens when schools protect bullies more than victims," she said. "This is my daughter. And this school covered it up." Within hours, it went viral. Parents flooded the school board with calls. Reporters showed up at the gates. Students began posting their own stories of being ignored, dismissed, silenced. The administration tried to contain it, but Sarah's truth spread faster than they could react. The next morning, protest signs lined the school's front lawn. "Justice for Emily. No more silence. Stop the bullies." Students who had been scared before finally spoke up. Teachers whispered apologies. The so-called queens were nowhere to be seen, but the chaos wasn't over yet. When the girls' parents tried to defend their daughters, Sarah didn't back down. She attended every board meeting, every hearing. She brought evidence, witnesses, statements. Her calm, composed fury became legendary. "You didn't raise mean girls," she said at one meeting. "You raised monsters, because you let them believe there were no consequences." The school tried to suspend the bullies quietly, but Sarah demanded full accountability. The video evidence forced the district's hand. The girls were expelled, their parents fined, and the school board publicly apologized to the Carter family. Still, Emily's recovery wasn't easy. She flinched at loud sounds. She couldn't sleep through the night. Her once bright smile was replaced by silence. Sarah stayed by her side through every tear, every nightmare, every small step back to confidence. Months later, when Emily returned to school, she wasn't the same girl who walked in on her first day. She carried scars, both seen and unseen, but she also carried strength. The halls that once echoed with laughter at her expense now fell silent as she passed. And slowly, whispers began, not of mockery, but of respect. She started a small club called The Stand, a group for students who had faced bullying. It began with 5 members. Within a month, it had 50. Emily's voice, once so quiet, began to rise again, and this time, people listened. Her mother watched from the sidelines, proud but cautious, always ready to protect her child. When a reporter later asked Sarah how she found the courage to take on the system, she smiled faintly. "You don't find courage,"